Welcome and thank you for joining us. This is Farm Drive, and my name is Yoshe Mbogwa.
Of course, Bosco right here. I hope you're doing good. I hope you had a good day and your evening is coming along quite well.
Yes, today is on Wednesday, one day at a time. How is your Wednesday?
Of course, it's a WCW. I feel good. Today is Women's Day, and make any woman close to you, near you, feel special today because it's WCW.
Oh, so that's a main.
Women Crush Wednesday.
Oh.
Yep.
So that is women to women, or can
From men to women.
oh
Or women to women. I might be having a crush woman. Yeah, you might be having a crush woman and you'll be like, today's on Wednesday, I want to celebrate someone. And then just make them feel special.
oh okay. So who comes up with these holidays, or you know?
It's all about creativity, I guess. We have Men Crush Monday.
Oh, Monday.
Yeah.
Why did you place it on Monday?
Okay, the initials.
Oh,
M for men.
you
W for women. So it's all about creativity. Yep.
I didn't know that.
Now you know. Told you I'm here for you. If you need to know anything, I'm your plug. Anything for you.
I didn't know that. But then I used to wonder why you only have.
WCW. We have WCW and MCM.
But I've never seen MCM.
You've never. It's because men don't take it so much. The same way men doesn't celebrate their birthdays. It's boyfriend's day, I don't know, Father's Day, Men's Day.
But
You don't take it that much.
all these holidays are meant to have others celebrating you.
Definitely. If you
Yeah.
have the right cycle
Oh.
or circle, whatever.
So for WCW, it happens a couple of times, and actually it's known and it happens most of the times.
Weekly, yeah?
Yes,
Mhm.
because men celebrate women. But the other way is inverse. We cannot say much about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, follow us on any of our social media handles, on our Facebook page, on X, and on our YouTube page. You can follow any of our content. Talk to us. Let us know what are your thoughts concerning farming and concerning anything that we do here at Farmers Media. And we always say at Farm Drive is where we are looking forward to run our farms as an enterprise. We want to maximize our profits as we minimize our
Losses, yeah.
That's the main goal. Now, today, we're talking about strategies for minimizing losses, and it's all about agribusiness risk management. Yesterday, we concluded in saying that everything has challenges, and I remember we were talking about competition.
Yeah,
When you get into a new market, there's always competition.
very.
Yes. So we are looking at now how do we minimize any risks involved in agribusiness,
Yeah.
and how do we come up with strategies to minimize the losses, especially in the market. So that's basically what we are looking at.
Yeah.
Yes.
And speaking of that, yesterday was this photo of our president wearing Masai shawl
Oh yeah.
that has been trending. What do you think about it?
I think that's I'll say that's an art. It's an art by itself. It's an art by itself.
I've just been seeing people posting it. Almost, like, let's say, almost every social media handle just been seeing it.
And I think it's nice. It's nice. I think that one has given us some bonga points in terms of tourism and giving an image for the country. Yes, I think it has a bigger percentage of it. It seems like you become the president, good things happen.
Okay.
Good things happen.
Okay, fine. I don't want to venture into that though.
No, I'm just saying. Because we agreed coming several seasons from now on, you'll probably be, in leadership.
Yeah.
So you aspire to get there. Yes.
And lead by example, like celebrating our culture, being proud. But why is it always Maasais? Because Maasai shawls are known for Maasais. Why don't we
Who else?
adapt?
Who else does their culture until today?
Okay, I think we still have.
Who? Which ethnic community does their attire until today?
Okay. Those who, okay, fine. What if we say those with the old age, those who used to walk naked and just cover their private parts? What if we go back there?
Well, we look at it this way because I'm looking at it with other ethnic groups. They only do their attire during special occasions.
Occasions, yeah.
But you see, when you come to the Maasai, that's kind of their way of life.
Even Somalis.
Yes, that's kind of the way of life. So there are times if you want to identify a culture of a country, you look at those who take it as their way of life. Yes, and I think that's why with the Maasai culture and the way we want to give an image for a tourism sector, we use the whole of the Maasai attire.
Yeah, but the most Maasai are well known both locally and international, because the first stop is, if we receive tourists, they go to Masai Mara, Amboseli,
In fact,
and
they gave it.
yeah, Masais are always there.
We are there jumping.
You're a Masai. Nah.
No, I can just become one for the purposes of earning a living.
Okay, just to be okay, I understand. But anyway, we appreciate Masais. We love you guys, and you carry our pride, like our heritage, in terms of tourism and attraction.
It's part of being proud of your culture and owning it up, and even having the desire you want to show it out. You want to showcase it out, and sometimes you even want others to come in and experience it.
But I feel like if all the tribes and all the ethnic groups could maybe adapt to it and continue preserving our cultural heritage, it will be a nice one. Let's go back. What's your view? I feel like we should revive, because most of my friends doesn't even know how to speak their mother tongue.
It's a trend.
Even the culture, they have no idea what's supposed to be done. They're like, nah.
Well, we get back to and I'll ask. So, what identifies your ethnic group? What is this that when I see, I know? Oh, okay. So you come from there.
Okay, you start from the name.
The name?
Yeah, name.
No,
Yeah, surname.
I've just seen you. I don't know your name. I've just seen you. We have not spoken.
Okay, you can't really tell unless there's some tribes which have marks on their faces, and you can tell this from a certain tribe. Maybe how they do their hair, maybe the piercing, attire. Those are some of the things that can tell.
Do you have a specific attire for your ethnic group?
Yeah, we do. Every ethnic group has their attire.
So will you, clad you on that attire when you're coming to work?
If I get it, yeah. Like it looks good. For real, it looks good.
It looks good.
Very good.
You have one?
I've ever maybe hired.
Okay.
Yeah, like for the cultural shoot and all that. But it really looks good. I really loved it.
I think 50 years from now we'll probably be missing a lot of what it means to be African.
Not only 50, but it's almost going. Like, if you can see, most are losing. Like, if you check, we used to trust Kikuyus so much, but nowadays it's losing. Like, it's not that it doesn't have the punch as it used to be initially. So as time goes by, it goes on like deviating and all that. So 50 is too much. Because with Gen Zs, we are the ones who are. They really don't know. They have no idea about the culture.
I've seen many people who are coming back to, indigenous ways of farming seeds. There are a couple of organizations that are coming up, and they are really taking care of what we call indigenous seeds. So I think probably a time will come when be working towards getting back to where we were or where our ancestors were in terms of their art, in terms of tradition. And I don't know, I can really wait to see that. But the whole of modernism is really racing out with tradition. So it's a fight between the two. And we're here. We'll decide because we're still around. Yes.
Yeah. The chance is on you, so you take it or leave it. You decide. Are you going to learn? Are you going to, keep, preserve, or just move as the trend?
It's a personal call.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a personal call. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yes. So as I said earlier, we're looking at agribusiness.
Yeah.
We agreed the whole of agribusiness is a whole cycle of farming, all the way to processing, to distribution, to the market, and you're getting back the inputs and you're repeating the cycle again and again. That's the whole meaning of agribusiness.
Yeah.
So we're looking at how do we minimize losses in agribusiness. That simply means when you are in the farm, when you're outside the farm, when you're in the market, how do you minimize these losses?
Yeah.
What are the strategies that, as a farmer, as an agribusiness person, that you can take in order to minimize some of these risks? So we'll look at what are some of the main causes of risks. In terms, when we're talking about risk, we're talking about a potential loss that is in waiting.
Yeah.
It's not yet there either, but give it a little bit of time, you will have the loss in your hands. So what are some of the causes as far as farming and agribusiness is concerned?
So we have several, and anything has a risk. Any business, any type of farming you venture into, like, you should have a risk management policy, and you're just trying to make you be alert of what is supposed to be done of you and how you're going to control this or to curb. At least be aware. So we might have also losses, and these losses comes as a result of the following, factors.
Yes.
Number one is about
Before we get to the factors, I want to know personally from you, there are different types of people as far as risks are concerned.
Yeah.
They are risk takers. Risk takers are those individuals who are ready to take the risk. They are ready for the loss.
Yeah.
Then they are risk averse. They are those who want to minimize the risk. Not only in farming, but even in life.
Yeah.
Kuna wale watu tunasema wanajituma. There's someone who will probably resign for a job to go venture in farming, to go venture in something else.
Yeah. We have them.
You're getting that? So those are risk takers. Then we have these individuals who are risk averse. They want to minimize the risk to the lowest possible point for them to take a step. Where are you in those two characteristics of individuals? That most of the times you're not mesmerized by the risks of life, the risks of,
I'm a risk taker.
You are a risk taker.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
I'm a risk taker. Yeah, I'm a risk taker. I believe I am.
What makes you say that?
Because I've risked so many things.
Okay.
Trying, let's say a risk taker is someone who is a go-getter. You just go for it no matter what happens. So I've done that several times, venture into something. I told you my story when it comes to, chicken farming, poultry. So I am one from that.
So you can. I've had people who quitted their job because they wanted to venture in music.
Yeah.
And they did music for a couple of days, years, months. It had not picked, but eventually it did. So when you're looking at risk, you need to know: are you a risk averse or are you a risk taker?
What about you?
I am risk averse. I need to minimize the potential risks to a considerable point where I'm so sure now this one I can handle. I need to know that if this is a risk I can handle. But someone told me in life you've got to be a risk taker. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's subject to discussion.
Yeah, but you should be. Anyway, we are different. We have different personalities. So mine, I can take any risk. Yours is just to make sure, Yeah, but no, come on.
It's life, anyway.
Yeah.
I think part of why most people nowadays are risk takers is because they are Gen Z. Gen Z are probably risk takers by nature. I don't know. That one is also subject to discussion.
Okay.
Common.
Speaking as if you're a millennial. Let's continue.
I'm among the fathers of Gen Z, but we're looking at weather and
the natural disasters. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So when you're in a farm, this is one of the potential risks, especially this is the greatest risk.
That are and they are unpredictable.
Yes.
So maybe for instance, you never know when there's drought and how long might it take. Floods, hailstorms, frost, hurricanes, you don't know, you're not even sure, maybe if it happens.
Yeah.
How long is it going to take? Maybe you're about to harvest and then heavy rains comes.
Oh, yes,
and there's some crops you can't harvest during rainy season. They need a bit when it's dry. And there's some crops, if you leave them, that's maize. If you leave, even beans,
yes.
If you leave them when it's raining and you leave them for long in the farm, they'll spoil.
Yes.
That is even fruits, tomatoes mostly. So you're not sure how long this rain they're going to, rain. You don't know the duration. It just happened. And sometimes it causes floods. Or this time round, it's so dry. You are you're used to the season. This is my planting season. You see the signs of the clouds telling you that it will rain. And you're sure, let me prepare my land so that I do the planting and all that. Now you've planted, you're waiting for the rains. And then no rain. No rain comes.
What you're saying, this is something you cannot foretell.
You cannot. So you can maybe through meteorological department just to prepare you, but that is just a predict.
Yeah.
You're not sure if it's going to be 100% or they predicted this October there'll be El Nino.
Yes.
So if you're a farmer, take risk. Also, make sure you are prepared for it, as much as you're not sure if it will happen, how is it going to be, how bad will it be, but at least let's be prepared. We are still fighting the climate change.
Yes.
And you're trying to adapt to it, so at least try and do something.
Yeah, this is all part of soil erosion. There's a time the farmers in Nyandarua, I think that was before COVID, and they woke up and only to realize that the whole farm was white.
Snow.
Yes. White. Sometimes I think in some larger parts of Mount Kenya there is what we call in Kiswahili mmonyoko wa udongo.
That is soil erosion.
Yes, your farm is at your
neighbor's place.
You woke up and
but I've ever seen that thing. Just you see, you're just standing somewhere and then you just see the trees and the grass moving and leaving a bare ground. They just move, go to somewhere, and as if someone is pushing a lorry to move down a slope. That's how they move. Yeah.
I think it's scary.
It is, because imagine you'll be somewhere, maybe you're somewhere, and then you're just seeing those things coming, and you are maybe going up, you're climbing, and then you're seeing them coming. What will you do? Definitely your life will be in danger, because if those trees fall on you.
I think if you're doing farming, you're one of the greatest risk
taker. Yeah, because that's what I told you. I'm a risk taker. I'm a farmer.
You don't know. We don't know. We talk about pests and diseases.
Yeah.
Yes. It's one of the causes, the risks that a farmer can find, especially when you're doing farming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. We have market
fluctuations. Yeah. Yes. Where there's rapid change in terms of market demand and pricing, and therefore it can lead to financial loss, whereby you have your crop, you are like prepared to sell it at this place, at this time, at this price, and then all of a sudden there's that fluctuation. Maybe you get a loss, or sometimes, okay, it depends, but most of the time you find the farmer being, getting
They're
losses.
always on the far end of the benefit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We are talking about what you call post-harvest losses.
And this one is very common
Yes.
to most people, especially if you don't take care and you be keen during harvesting. How you handle your products, the produce from the farm before to store, and also during transportation. So sometimes you can have spoilage, sometimes contamination, and therefore you reduce the market value.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we are talking about quality is one of the most important thing when you're getting into the market.
Yeah.
Quality is one of the most important thing. We are talking about climate change and this stuff. Yeah, I think the nations are gathering now and then to talk about climate change. The president has been on the he said that they want to plant, is it 5 million trees? I think it's 5 million trees over a good span of time. So we're talking about climate change when probably the seasons are shifting. You were planting in March, but now the rains are not yet in March. You have to wait until the end of April. So the seasons are shifting and changing most of the time. So this is one of the greatest risks when it comes to farming.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think when it comes to climate, it really affects farmers so much.
Very.
But also when you're talking about climate, we have seen people overcoming the barriers of climate. That simply means there are places that have been so dry, no rains, but the governments and the individuals have been able to invest in terms of irrigation and water supply, and people are farming over those areas.
Yeah.
It's really encouraging when we're able to get over the risk that farmers face.
Yeah, and we also have the labor shortages, whereby, as a farmer, sometimes there's the availability of labor and, workforce management, can result to delayed or having insufficient cultivation, whereby maybe it can be during harvesting, during planting, you've decided where you are, there are no discussion laborers, and then you're like, you want to plant a certain acre of land and you have less laborers. So, it will be a challenge because some crops need to be planted the same day so that when it comes to harvesting, you can harvest at a go. Yeah, or maybe during harvesting, maybe the weather conditions are not that good and they're supposed to harvest like once and for all, and then it reaches that time, you have less laborers, so you have to extend some time and you might get some spoilage at the end of the day. Yeah.
Or even when it comes to skilled labor, in terms of machinery, in terms of knowledge about the farm and about the produce, it's very important.
Yeah.
We're talking about technology in terms of where you're able to measure the moisture content of these, the chemical content. Especially when we're talking about export, we need technology in this. So sometimes as a farmer you're limited, and there are risks that are probably in your hands when you look at inadequate technology that we probably have not yet acquired.
Yeah, and also you can have the equipment breakdown. Sometimes they can have mechanical failures and equipment breakdown, whereby maybe it can disrupt planting, harvesting, or any other crucial farm operations. So it might lead to a loss also. That's a challenge.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there are a couple of issues that we will say that are risks. When you look at them, are risks, but we can have a way of mitigating them. We also look at the global market, or even the market itself, in terms of risks that are there. So we always have the issues of demand and supply. There are times as a farmer, the greatest risk in the market is when you are in the market and you find flooding of this commodity. It becomes a source of where you will maximize your loss. So, in terms of market demand, this entails the change in customer preference. So it becomes so hard for a farmer in terms of upgrading him or herself economically when there is a change in consumer preference, or when the demand is so low for your produce and that's the harvesting time. We have commodity prices. Yes. There is always fluctuation. So there are times you find that one debby of potatoes goes for close to 1,000, and then there are times it goes to 300 shillings.
Like right now, it's is it 300? Yeah, I think it's 300 and something.
Okay.
Yeah, very cheap.
Look at that. And there were times it was costing 900, I guess.
Yeah, and by then French fries, they were so expensive. Like you find a small plate at 150, and you're like, gosh, this small plate used to cost 50 bob. Yeah, I don't know how about now, because I rarely take fries.
So fluctuation of prices really is one, and I think most of the times you find when farmers are going to harvest, they must seek and know what is the price of this commodity today.
Yeah.
What will be the probable price of it tomorrow, so that you're able to know when will I harvest. Okay. And at times you find they are product of, there is a produce that goes at a loss because an associated produce is high on demand or it's scarce. So if we don't have potatoes in the market, there is probably another commodity that is affected. That probably goes the same with potatoes.
True.
Yes. So if we don't have rice in the market, you will find something else is affected.
Yeah.
And there is something else that takes advantage of having probably the rice is not as much as the consumer. So these are commodity fluctuations in the different commodities in the market.
And we also have climate change.
Yes.
Yeah, climate change. These are global climate patterns. Like it really influences weather conditions, maybe in Kenya, in East Africa, and Africa at large, and therefore it affects the crop yield. For instance, if there's no water and the crops surviving, the risk, it will be so minimal, and also it can increase the attack of pests, like pest and disease prevalence. So climate change, it's really a big impact, and it's what we're trying to fight right now.
Yes, we always have the issues of political instability, and this was one of the most profound issues that was addressed during the 2022 campaignings. And the whole issue of the Ukraine and Russia war in terms of unga prices, wheat,
fertilizer.
Yes. So when we look at that in terms of political instability in some of these countries, it really affects the market, and that is one of the greatest risks that faces farmers.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we also have the technology transfer, whereby the new adoption of the new agricultural technologies, like from around the world, can enhance the productivity, efficiency, and sustainability in the agribusiness.
Yes.
Yeah.
We spoke about exchange rates yesterday. This is also one of the problems that really affects, especially exporters.
Yeah.
It's one of the greatest risks. We also have health and diseases outbreaks that I think when the locusts were saying 2020.
2020, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, hey. I remember I used to chase them. The locusts. Ha! I'm telling you, they came and landed on our tea leaves.
So they ate tea leaves?
They landed.
Oh, but they were not...
a section of it, we didn't wait because we were told, we used to have communication.
Okay.
They are people say, today we've chased them from this side and they're now migrating to this side. So be on the watch. Now we were waiting. We could beat drums to make noise so that they go away. and that's how they used to go. Yeah, when you make noise, they're like you're coming to attack them. Others you could use like sweep nets. You just sweep like this and you capture them.
There are people who use
To
locusts
eat.
as food.
Yeah, there's who used to eat them. I don't know.
Okay.
People eat. There are insects which are edible. I don't know. The mites.
matter of saying they're
The termites. Is it termites or the mites? I don't know.
The insects.
Yeah. Which are edible. They are eaten. So that year I remember very well. We used to chase them towards the river. Now the reeds. These reeds are with the ones the river. Now that's where they used to land, and that's what they used to eat. Like once they land, when you just make some noise, like you clap or you shout, you'll just see darkness, a dark cloud, a large, like a big swing.
Oh, okay.
Like a swarm,
So I understand they were moving from, is it from Uganda? They're going all the way, I don't know, probably they go to Tanzania. But these are some of the things that affect globally in terms of farming and agribusiness. Then we also need to look at what are some of the strategies that as a farmer, as a government, as an individual, you can use to minimize the risks that are there in agribusiness. Some of the because we say a risk is a potential loss.
Yeah.
So you're looking at a potential loss that in the near future will actually characterize to be a loss in terms of finance or in terms of your produce. So how do we minimize these losses? Because we always say here we want to maximize our profits and minimize our losses. How do we minimize our losses in the whole cycle of agribusiness?
Okay, number one,
Okay.
it's about the crop selection and diversification.
Okay.
So first of all, you have to choose a crop.
Come back to
You have to select a crop. Sorry for that. That is well suited for your region's climate, first of all, and the soil conditions.
Yes.
For it to, make sure that it is growing well, and also diversifying your crop portfolio that can help to curb the spread risk, as different crops that have like different the different varying susceptibility.
Okay.
I think that's the right word to use, to pests, diseases, and the market fluctuations.
Okay.
So yours is to select a crop that is well suited and also for diversification purpose.
So we are looking at an instance where you want to minimize the losses.
Yeah.
You begin from the planting. Whatever you plant in your farm.
True.
You need to project where the market is. You need to look at its suitability. You said about its suitability. If it's certified, so it's able to resist pests, diseases, the weather, and the rest. So you need to begin from the planting.
Yeah.
Oh.
That is the number one consideration. And then the other one, it's about the climate and soil suitability. The climate, due to the changing of the climate, the weather conditions, you have to choose a crop that is well suited to the local climate. Therefore, different crops, they have different varying temperature, rainfall, soil pH, and they have different levels of let's say nutrients requirements. So if you choose a crop that match the soil, like the conditions that are there in your soil and the climate in that area, it's going to reduce the risk of yield loss.
Yes.
And you're going to get you minimize the losses, whereby you don't have to go for a variety that is suited for a different ecological condition to come and plant it. You'll definitely get a loss. Something that is adaptable to your soil and to the climate of your particular region. It will really help.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we also need to include the whole issue of water. One of the the greatest challenge and the greatest risk that African farmers are facing is water. Big margins and big portions of land have not been cultivated because of water.
Yeah, true.
So if we are able to have probably dams or be able to
drill boreholes,
Yes.
yeah.
I think that will really help farmers in terms of minimizing losses. I think I was traveling from Nakuru onwards to Rongai, from Nakuru to Molo. You find that there are regions that maize has really been suppressed by the whole issue of rain.
When you talk about Rongai, you're talking about
not Rongai.
There's a Rongai in Nakuru.
Yes.
Oh,
A sub-county.
it is called Ongata Rongai or
No,
still
it's
Rongai?
Rongai.
Oh, we have Ongata
It's a
Rongai.
sub-county by its own. Yes.
Okay.
I think it's
I thought that I had it wrongly. So I was like Rongai, Nakuru, Rongai, then Nakuru. Now I was like, okay.
I feel like if you go to the major cities in this country, you will realize that there are portions or areas that borrowed names from Nairobi.
Oh.
If you go to Mombasa, there are high chances of finding Kasarani. You're finding Rongai again.
In Mombasa?
I don't know. I'm just saying, but
No. But Rongai is not in Nairobi. Rongai is in Kajiado, yeah. So let's say there is sharing of names. Because I know of Kayole somewhere on the, around Naivasha. Yeah, so it's like Kayole. Okay, we have Oyole.
There's Pangani in Nairobi.
Yeah.
Yes, Pangani. I think when people left Nairobi and went to build other cities, they were like, I used to live in Pangani.
So let's call this Pangani.
Yes.
And that's how the name stick.
Yeah.
Okay. We have what is this name? This place when you're going to City Stadium, and then Kaloleni.
Kaloleni. I don't know.
We have Kaloleni in Mombasa. We have Kaloleni just right before City Stadium. Yeah, it's true. It's Kenya. Maybe they lack the name. Let's not get back. We will go back to the roots and ask, why are you calling this? Why is this place called this? You might find that we used to have maybe people during those days. They were like, you're from Kaloleni in Mombasa, and then you come to Nairobi, and then you are like, because most of the people you came with were from Kaloleni, now you start your own Kakaloleni, like Kaka village, and then it expands, and then the name sticks.
That was also a characteristic in high school. Where if you had guys from the same place and you probably shared the same cube, that cube will get the name of
from where you come from.
Oh, you used to do that?
No, for us we used to name it according to the one who is superior among the group.
Oh, okay.
If I was the superior one, then that cube will be named. Like, you have powers. Like, there's something you can do better than everyone in that.
But someone else can do something better than you.
But you have war. You might be able to do like more than 3 things better than the rest. So you're considered superior.
Probably for many, you're masculine, you're like, yeah, we're not cool or something. But I think that's a character that develops in me. But we were saying, if we have a channel where we can harvest water, it will it will really push farmers in terms of maximizing their profit.
I remember you were talking during the day as you were coming from lunch. Remember you were talking about he was eating oranges, and I was like, these oranges taste good. Ukambani is known for producing best oranges and mangoes.
Yes.
And their seasons are usually like after mango season, now it is oranges. Now after oranges, it is pears, right?
I am not sure.
Do they produce pears? I'm not sure though.
I mean, it has been for a long time. I've not had pears. Like.
Yeah. Okay. So we were talking about it, and they're like, why is it that the dry land, they are, they're not that well blessed with rains and water catchment areas, so they produce the best.
The conclusion is they probably don't have,
water areas.
Yes.
And
but the soil is so rich.
yeah, even in Kajiado County,
Yes.
and then we were like asking ourselves, like, why is it that God made it this way? The counties that are well watered, that receive adequate rains, that doesn't have doesn't have dry areas, they're not into cultivation that much, or do they produce less?
I think partly is because the land has been in farming for some time.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're coming to Kajiado, when you're coming to some of these places that are so dry,
Mm-hmm.
you probably have installed an irrigation system.
Yeah.
You're coming to a virgin land.
Yeah, true.
So that is so fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I remember there was a comparison between the farmers who left better part of Mount Kenya, went to Rift Valley, or some of them who are living now and they're going to some parts in Narok.
Yeah, for farming.
They will tell you this land produces better.
Yeah, true. Because it's fertile,
Mm-hmm.
and their nutrients are still intact.
Yes.
They are unused.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes it better for farming. Anyway, it's you to use your mind and be like, now, I want to cultivate here. I want to, make something out of it
Yeah.
from here. So it's all upon you. And as we move on about the factors and the strategies, I remember we mentioned about the disease and pest resistance,
Yes.
whereby for us to reduce the issue of the losses and in terms of agribusiness, we have to, if you're going to plant or cultivate, choose a crop that is the crop variety that is disease resistant and pest and disease resistant. This one will minimize a loss because it's resistant. That's why you're having the board of research, and what is it called? It was coming up with a type of variety of maize that is pest and disease resistant, especially to the dry areas whereby they're easily attacked by pest, and of which it's a good move.
Yes.
And I feel like it will really do good to farmers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we are looking at strategies that you can use to minimize some of these risks that as a farmer, are probably just a section far away.
Mm-hmm.
We are looking at value-added products.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you realize we want to extend the shelf life of our potatoes,
Mm-hmm.
so we need to add value.
Yeah.
So you find that we have too much flooding in the market.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't we think of how we will add value to this? And we say it at times, you don't work alone. You
Yeah.
need to be in that cooperative. You
Mhm.
need to be in that group of farmers
Yeah.
where you meet together, source the relevant technology, have the important information you need from an expert, and then we can add value to anything that we harvest from our farms.
Mm-hmm.
That way, we will be able to increase the shelf life of this produce. When I mean shelf life, it simply means after you have produced to the day the customer buys, you have a period of time,
Mm-hmm.
yes, and you avoid wastage.
Sure.
Yes.
And you have for you also have to check on the market demand and trends, whereby you have to research the current and the projected market demand of various crops, and also you focus on cultivating crops that will have the steady demand and offer offer good market prices. Yeah. And also check on the customer preference or the consumer preference and the market trends. This one will help minimize losses from over supplying or fluctuating in terms of prices.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think one of the most important thing that we need to go, we actually need to highlight
Mm-hmm.
is all about networking,
Mm-hmm.
coming together as farmers,
Yeah.
and being in a club or a group of farmers
Mm-hmm.
where you exchange information, you exchange knowledge,
Yeah.
where you're able to pool the resources. A good example is if you need to bring any expert in your farm, or to talk to you in terms of it works in hand for farmers.
Yeah, and also farmers should employ the trend of crop rotation. Crop rotation helps to break the cycle of pests and diseases. Therefore, if you keep on rotating the crops, you're using the dormant nutrients that weren't used, and also some plants or crops fix some nutrients in the soil that will be useful with another crops. Some crops are easily attacked by a certain disease, some are not. So if you practice crop rotation, you're going to break this circle and also reduce the risk of widespread of losses.
Yes, we're going to take a short commercial break, and when we get back, we'll be looking at the steps you need to take in terms of risk identification. You identify the risk. How do you go through? We're looking at production risk, all the risks that are involved in the whole cycle, how you assess the risk, and how you strategize in terms of overcoming the risks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Make sure you don't touch that dial. We'll be back in a few.
Drip irrigation is a type of micro-irrigation system that has potential to save water and nutrients by allowing water to drip slowly to the roots of the plants, either from above the soil surface or buried below the surface. The goal is to place water directly into the root zone and minimize evaporation. This system is very efficient because it delivers water directly to the plant roots, reducing water waste. It's often used in arid regions or during periods of water shortage, but it's also used in more temperate climates for its efficient and conservation benefits. Common uses include vegetable gardens, flower beds, trees, shrubs, and agroforests. It can be set up for both small-scale home gardens and large-scale agricultural operations. The system requires a water source, a method to distribute the water, usually tubes and hoses, and emitters which control the amount of water delivered.
Welcome back. This is Farm Drive, and I hope you are enjoying the show. And you can follow us in any of our social media handles, on our Facebook page, on our
The X.
I mean, I'm trying to just get from
Twitter to X. Yeah, you will. But it's most the same thing. Yeah, it's just the logo changed and there's still Twitter.
Now we are talking about areas that have had a lot of farming, and we're talking about virgin lands that have not been farmed, and we're comparing them, and we're looking at them, you're like the areas that have been in farming for a long time.
Yeah.
And when you look at them, probably the production is not as we expect. Okay.
At some point.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're saying this, you don't have to worry because NASCO organic fertilizers got you.
Yeah.
Yes. So we are looking at a fertilizer. This is liquid fertilizer. It's there for, boosting your soil nutrients. Taking care of your pH levels.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's one of the fertilizers that will come in handy in terms of ensuring that you, as a farmer, you have the highest level of output that you will want in that product.
And remember, NASCO Organics liquid fertilizer, it works for all crops.
That's the best advantage.
All, like, it doesn't have, like, this one is for this specific. You can grow it with flowers, fruits, like, legumes, anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's 100% organic. No chemical additives.
Yeah.
It will come in handy. And as a farmer, when you're thinking about lament of your farm has been in production for a long time, you have farmed it for a long time, NASCO Organic Fertilizers got your back.
Yeah.
Okay. So you get this, and you're able to get good produce. You're able to maximize your profits when you're minimizing your losses. That simply means you're able to take care of the risks that we are talking about.
Yeah.
So we're talking about agribusiness risk management. Okay.
Yeah.
That simply means we are assessing the risk. We want to have the ways we can mitigate these risks and see what impact it will have in the profitability of our produce that we have in the market.
True.
So the first step is that you need to identify the risk. What is the risk? We are saying that there are many risk causes.
Yeah.
In terms of natural disasters, climate, in terms of market fluctuations. So you need to look at it. And we're saying that agribusiness, when you're talking about agribusiness, you need to look at agribusiness in the whole cycle of farming.
Yeah.
From planting to
harvesting, transportation, storage, market. Yeah.
So you need to identify the risk. That is where we begin. We identify the risk. We know the threats. There was something we learned when we were doing our CPA, and it was, risk assessment. And it's what we call SWOT analysis.
Yeah.
That is a strength, weakness, opportunities,
and
the threats.
Yeah.
So you need to do a SWOT analysis and know what is the risk. So that is where you are assessing the risks. So that way we'll have we'll be able to know how we will mitigate the risks.
Yeah.
So they are what we call production risks. So these are called weather risks.
Like the production risks are the risks that you experience during production, right? In short. So during your production period, like cultivating your land, planting, before you harvest, and all that, what are some of these risks that you might encounter? That's what you call production risks, right?
Yes. So if it's soil erosion, you need to know the strategies you can put in place in terms of farming.
Yeah.
How do you farm? Is it vertically? How do you
how is your farm structure, first of all? So your farm structure will tell you how you're going to farm. Is it across? Is it along? That's how you do it. We have the weather events. That's why you have to consider, such as drought, floods, storms. They can damage crops, and therefore it reduces the yields. So you have to identify your risk. Is it the weather? And also, is it the pest and disease outbreaks? Like we have the insect pests, we have the pathogens, we have diseases that can negatively impact your crop health. So therefore, you have to check the productivity. Which one is your risk? You get? Is it like you usually get attacked by diseases, the pest? You have to identify it first for you to manage it for future. Like to make sure that in future it doesn't occur. And also the crop variety selection. That one is under the production risk, whereby during your the choosing, you have to choose the appropriate crop variety that is suitable for your local climate. Therefore it has to match the local climate conditions for you, so that you don't result to poor production in terms of yields.
So we're also looking at the issue of soil health. And I think that is where NASCO organic fertilizer comes in.
Yeah.
It's coming handy. So we need to look at, and one fascinating thing is that there are places you go and you're told maize can grow in this area, but there are certain pests at a certain age, season of the maize. It's affected and it's gone. So we need to look at the production risk. Then you have market risk. So we are out of the farm, we are in the market.
In the market.
Yes.
Yeah, now we have when it comes to market risk, you have the one that goes with the price volatility. Like prices are volatile.
Yes.
So the fluctuation in terms of market prices, it can really impact your profitability and in terms of crop yields and livestock products.
Yes.
So that one it can affect. So you have to establish what season am I going to harvest? What will be the market? Like how is the market going to look like? How will be the prices? Those are some of the things you need to consider. The other one is the market demand when it comes to market risks. Like the market demand, the sudden change in terms of consumer preference. Like the consumer can shift the market demand, and therefore you can lead to either oversupply or undersupply. Sometimes the consumer needs too much and you have less, so that is undersupply. Sometimes it is too much in the market, so they only need less, that is oversupply. So you have to establish and know, at this season I'm not supposed to be planting tomatoes, or if I have to harvest tomatoes, I have to harvest this certain season, so that they'll be less in the market and then supply more or adequately. Yeah.
At times, it even happens in a way that a good example, because you're talking about mangoes, you realize when there are certain mangoes, when they come to the market, customers prefer the mangoes from a specific region.
Yeah.
Or they prefer potatoes from
a specific region. Yeah.
So if you don't come from that region, probably the high chances that you will be pushed out of the market.
And then I feel like it's the taste that makes people choose that. When it comes to sugarcane, there's this guy.
Oh yes,
Sugarcane. Like, this guy is a Kisii actually. He gets his sugarcane from Kisii, and he makes sure he sells them. Like every day, you'll find him at that particular point, and he will always tell you, this is a sugarcane from Kisii, this one is from Kisumu, this one is from Trans Nzoia, this one is from... You have to taste and you'll feel the difference in terms of taste. Yeah. You will. So today you'll be like, Kisii, like he has labeled them. This sugarcane from Kisii, this from this from this. And you'll find out that he knows where his customers, like what their customers like, what they prefer. So it's like, if they prefer the Kisii sugarcane, that's what he brings in large quantities than the others. Yeah, so you really have to check into that. And also under market risks, the last one is market access. You have to, there is disruption in transportation.
Yes.
Sometimes the weather conditions have affected the roads, there's traffic, maybe at some point, the logistics or trade policies, sometimes they can hinder the access to the market.
Yes.
So during the delay in the market can cause...
I think part of this is what you were saying, you're moving your goods from one county to several other counties.
Yeah.
So you need to go all the way, you're paying sales and drivers. So we are looking at risk identification. We are looking at the production.
Yeah, the marketing now.
We're looking at the financial.
Yeah, financial.
The financial risks that are involved for you as an agribusiness person. Yes. So we have input costs. This is one of the greatest challenges for farmers because at times farmers are limited by inputs in terms of what they want to plant.
Yeah.
It becomes so hard for farmers to plant, and sometimes they apply less fertilizer, or they farm just a small portion of land.
True.
Okay, that simply means if inputs become a challenge to a farmer, and I think that is why the government is coming so powerfully, and it's really helping farmers in terms of accessing inputs, especially fertilizer.
Yeah, true.
So input cost is one of the greatest impediment when it comes to farmers and farming.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Because if you don't plant, definitely you not have anything to
harvest. Yeah.
The other one is about fluctuations. These ones occur every time. At times when it's planting season, you have high prices.
Yeah.
And at times, if you want to buy the inputs a little bit earlier, when it's time to plant, you realize, wait, there is a new breed of this crop that is resistant to this and this, and it's more preferable than what you had bought.
Yeah.
So you need to buy again. And lastly, it's all about credit.